Alright guys, it's Shalom with the Paradox Gaming Network, and today I'm doing Archeage Unchained 101. We're going to go over the live stream and all the information that we got from today. Now I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. I'm not going to splice in video footage. If you prefer splice-ins, leave me a comment. If you prefer for it to be quick with just an annotation of the timestamp, let me know that in the comments as well. So first and foremost, people are worried about this account restriction. I've talked about I've lived in a house where we had 4 gamers. I know a lot of people have 2 or 3 gamers in their house. They all want to have 3 accounts. Accounts are going to be limited by player, not by household. So this means your IP address is going to be able to have more than 3 accounts logging in from it. But expect them to look into this. And if it looks suspicious, I'm going to tell you right now, there are telltale signs that you have more than 3 accounts on your name. I'm not going to go into those. I'm not going to make your job easy. If you want to try to get around the 3 accounts per player limit, that's on you. This change is not coming to the legacy servers. I know a lot of legacy players were worried because they thought that with the Gamigo terms of service limiting you to 5 accounts and that this was going to roll over to the old servers. It's absolutely not. They have no plans to implement a account lock on the legacy servers. That's at minute 20:56 if you want to check that out for yourself. Now, character creation. I know people aren't going to like this answer, but the answer is soon. And I know this answer sucks. I know you bought your pack, you want to make your character, you want to reserve your name. I can tell you if you absolutely have to make your character right now, go on the old servers and make it, save it, drag the file to your desktop. You'll be able to move that file where it needs to go. That's no problem. But here's something you're probably not thinking about. You want soon to be the answer. You want them to think that they can fill more than 2 servers and that they're just waiting on the sales numbers to prove it. You don't want them to lock in 2 servers as the only options. People start making characters and then them suddenly release a 3rd server, but you're already committed. You don't want that. Speaking of servers and populations and faction locks, these are all the important things. They currently have 2 servers per region planned. These are all based on the mages of Aranor. You're familiar with all these names. These are the library bosses. Now, are they going to cap the server populations? Yes, they are looking into it. No, they don't have an answer for us. And I want you to look at the quality of that answer, and I'm going to talk about that at the end of the video. The quality of the answers we're getting is a lot better. Are they going to limit the factions? Are they going to put a faction cap? And they said not at this time. And I know this is a 101 and I try to keep my opinions out of my 101 videos. But in this case, I have to say this is a mistake. Not setting up proper server balance between the factions is simply going to set up launch problems again. If you have 2 servers, I would be willing to bet one of them is going to become the primary East server and one is going to become the primary West. If you're basing things on pre-sale pack data and you have the ability to adjust on the fly, they really, really, really need to make sure that they don't end up with an unbalanced nightmare. And that's what I think we're going to get if they don't reverse that statement going into next week's live stream and say, you know what? We thought about it, and yes, absolutely. We are not going to allow one faction to have 4,000 players on it and the other faction to be limited at 1,000. We are going to try to keep them relatively balanced. Now, that does require a lot of legwork on their part. They haven't released the servers yet, so now is the opportunity for them to really get things balanced. Moving on, cosmetics. This has been a very misquoted piece of information, and I'm going to talk about that at the end too. Are costumes tradable? This is the answer we got. Yes, we acknowledge the question. Yes, we have asked XL to make them bound, but we don't have a final answer for you yet. This is an amazing answer. We also found out, no, we're not getting the Demon Kiss costume, but I do want to start a social movement called #InquisitorRobes. Now about the Korean labor change, this is another one of those things. If you watch my videos, I've said we're not getting the Korean labor change in the form that it's in. We're going to get some form of it, but not the form it's in right now. Today we confirmed we were getting parts of it. Labor pots will not be buyable in the cash shop, and that is a big part of the Korean labor system. Legacy as well. You will not be able to buy labor pots in the cash shop. This almost sounds like no vocation and no labor stipends as well, but they didn't say that, but it kind of leans me towards that they're going to remove those as well. Labor pots will be in the Arc Pass on the Diligence path. Now, I have no idea how Legacy would get them, and this is in red because it's my opinion. We might see them up the number of labor pots that you acquire each month through the monthly or the daily login tracker. On Warborn and Dwarfs, this has been another piece of information a lot of people are talking about. I've had conversations with people where they said, I feel like I have to go Warborn or I have to go Dwarf, otherwise I'm going to fall behind in leveling. These will be available at launch because we're launching on the 6.0 build. These should level at the same speed as other races. Now I say should because they're looking into it. But the other races should be leveling faster. Everybody should be brought up to the Warborn Dwarf leveling speed. That's a change in 6.0. Stay tuned for more from Gamigo. So again, they're hearing us, they're responding with what they have, and they're saying, let us get back to you. Now what I want to do right here is I want to drop in, and I want to drop in today's teaser. It's really short, but I didn't want to have to drive you guys somewhere else, and I felt it would be disingenuous to open the video with that because you could go see the teaser somewhere else. Feel free to skip ahead if you want to get past the teaser. If you haven't seen it, I think they're doing a really good job with the marketing. That's why I want you to see this. All right, guys, so the first time we're going to see Swiftblade in North America and Europe is going to be on the PTS. Now, yes, we're going to be getting the PTS. We're going to be getting 6.0 in advance. Details of when are coming soon. And it's, expect better products from me about 6.0 once I can put hands on 6.0. Now, I do want to point something out where it does sound like Carendash said Unchained would be on the PTS. But I don't want to hold him to that. This is one of those times where I understand as a streamer that things can get a little out of your control. There were a lot of things going on at the stream at that moment. So I'm not going to hold him to it where people are going to say, well, you said Unchained is going to be on the PTS. Yes, it kind of sounds like he said this, but no, I don't think that's what he was intending to say. People asked about the new Castle Siege system. Yes, we're getting them. Notes are coming soon. But the takeaway to this is pirates, you can be involved in sieges now. You don't have to transfer back and forth to the mainland. Your nation is getting developed as a nation of its own. So yes, you can participate in the sieges. Now I will let you know that sieges have radically changed. I don't know what form of that we're getting, so I'm holding off talking about it. I want to let Gamigo tell us before I start speculating, because I have found that the things I speculate on tend to get carried and run pretty rampant before I can yank back on the leash. Okay, so to close up today, I want to do a couple of things. And number one, I want to send a shout out to Djaya and Carendash. These streams are better than the old ones by far. The 30-minute format versus 60 is brilliant. Obviously, if you have 60 minutes of content, take the 60 minutes. If not, don't try to fill an hour just for the sake of filling an hour. Nobody wants to be there and just listen to a bunch of babble. What they want is they want the facts, they want the giveaways, and let's move on. The other piece is, I have to say that these guys are entertaining and engaging. I actually believe they enjoy their jobs. It's not forced. It's not marketing. It's not PR. It's not advertising. It's not, I have to be here. They play off each other very well in the stream. And there is something about body language and personality and the way people interact with each other that lets you know that they're coming from something that looks like a good working environment. And I love the fact that when they weren't looking at the screen, when they weren't looking at the camera so that it felt like they were looking right at you, they told you why. There's a couple of times in there, hey, we're adjusting the mic. Hey, we're looking at the screen and we're reading questions. And that's just a key piece from a creator's point of view that lets your audience know you actually care about your audience because you're explaining things that are going on. I also have to say that they seem to know their stuff. There's a lot of things in Archeage that you can put on a piece of paper and you can prep people for. but there's a certain like off the cuff mentality when you watch the Djaya say these are the legendary mages of Aranor. It's like she knew that, like secondhand nature. Not only that the four of them, the four server names are based after four legendary mages, but she also knew, a lot of people don't know that the Aranor gear is also, the world is Aranor. So a lot of people don't know that. They don't know the lore from the novel. And so I have to even give them credit. They were going to do the roll on the giveaway, and she paused it, and she said, hold up, we misspelled the giveaway term. We have the channel in slow-mo. Let's give them a minute to make sure that clears. These are all things that just prove that you have the keys to success, and that we're seeing a lot better out of the team. With that, I do have to say, I said I would talk about this at the end. Addressing topics, even if you don't have the answer. I know people want an answer, but sometimes you just don't have one to give. So where they talk about the larder problem, no answer, but we are working on it. This is what we've done. We've acknowledged your question. We've sent it to Excel Games. I know a lot of people say, well, they should get an answer back faster. The problem is Gamigo's not the developer. Gamigo is the distributor. They're the publisher. They can't make the changes. So they have to wait until they get the answer from Excel before they can do anything with it. And then to close up, I really need everybody who's a fan of Archeage, who's spun up out of control about one topic or another, stop saying they said. Have proof in hand of what they actually said. All throughout my show today, I was streaming for 6 hours, and I had people that would come in and they'd say, well, they said. And I said, I don't have a soundbite of that. I don't have a quote of that. Provide me one. And somebody actually went, the forums were down, but they actually got a Google Cache version of the FAQ, and they said, here it is. They said, oh, we've asked. Yeah, you're running around angry that something hasn't happened or something is happening, but we don't even know what's happening yet. So I need people to slow it down, listen to what was actually said, because people like to see something or hear something and they run with what they think they heard, not what they really heard. And that's it, guys. This is Archeage Unchained 101. There is the Archeage 101 2019 edition website. That's the only product I have up right now. This weekend, the goal is to start the first steps of Archeage Unchained 101, the website. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a Wix website. I didn't have a chance to learn HTML over the summer. I will be getting into HTML, but I think right now you guys want me making meaningful content. I can dress the content up later. Until then, keep an eye out for this weekend. I have a Archeage Unchained 101 coming out on land and housing. And then I'm going to start on the trade routes video. I know that's been a popular one. People have been asking me to cover the original trade routes, the cargo ones, and then what we have now. Until then, if you got any questions at all, leave a comment below, and I will see you next time. What are you still doing here? Nobody ever stays this long. This is the end screen. Well, since you're here, there's a couple other videos I think you should check out. And all those names, those are my patrons over at Patreon. I couldn't do this without them. So, big thanks to them for all their support.